Hi everybody! I hope that you guys enjoyed going on your quadrilateral hunt outside yesterday. So remember, a quadrilateral is any polygon, and a polygon is a closed shape with straight sides, but a quadrilateral in particular has to have 4 straight sides and it has to be closed. So we're going to talk a little bit more about quadrilaterals today. I have a couple different examples of 4-sided figures, which are all quadrilaterals. We're going to focus today on something called parallel sides and how many different sets of parallel sides different quadrilaterals have. So here's my big trick. When you look at the word parallel, here's the word parallel. The 2 L's in parallel, this L and this L, are actually parallel lines. So that's how I always remember what parallel means. So parallel lines are 2 lines that are exactly straight and they're never going to come in contact with each other. They will always stay exactly the same distance apart, and they'll never get closer and they'll never go farther away either. It's like train tracks or railroad tracks. They're always equal distance apart, and so they will never go in or out. So whenever we look at these different shapes, some shapes have no parallel sides. Some shapes have 1 set of parallel lines. Some shapes have 2 sets of parallel lines. So if we look at our first quadrilateral, a square, you want to look at the opposite sides. And so first you can see that this side here and this side here are parallel. So you have to imagine that they're going to go on and 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 on in both directions forever and ever and ever. So you have to kind of imagine that this line continues on and on and on and on and on in both ways. They will never touch. They will never come in contact with one another. So this side and this side are parallel lines. If we look at the other sides, this side and this side, also parallel. If they continued on and on and on, all the way out into outer space, forever and ever and ever and ever, as far as they could possibly go, they will never touch. So a square has 2 sets of parallel sides. It has this set, and then it has this set here. So a square has 2 sets of parallel lines or parallel sides. Now, if we look at a trapezoid, if we look at the top and the bottom, remember guys, I drew these so they're not going to be perfect, but if we look here and here, and we envision these lines to go on and on and on and on and on forever and ever in both directions, does it look like they'll ever touch? No, they won't. They're parallel. So this is 1 set of parallel sides. Now if we look at the other side, at this time, they're not touching. Those 2 sides are not touching yet, but if, even though that's the end of the shape right there, if those lines went on and on and on forever and ever, and they continued on, would they eventually touch? Yeah, they would. So they're not parallel. The green here and here are parallel, but the red are not. So this trapezoid has only 1 set of parallel sides, just the green. So here and here would be parallel. Take a look at the rectangle. The top and the bottom, do they look like they'll ever touch? Nope, they're parallel. And then the left side and the right side. So that rectangle has 2 sets of parallel sides. Now if we look down here at this rhombus, let's look at this part and this line here. Now, sometimes it's a little bit tricky when it's not straight, it's on an angle a little bit, but we have to try and visualize if it continued on and on in both directions, would they ever cross? No, they're parallel. They're just like 2 train tracks. And these sides here, here, and here, they're never gonna touch. Parallel, straight, just like if you put your arms out straight like this, as straight as you can, and your arms will never cross. If you put them straight in front of you, those are parallel. So So this shape, this rhombus, has two sets of parallel sides. I don't know what this is called, but it's quadrilateral, has four sides. Whew, I'm not sure I can find any that look parallel. This one touches right here. This and this touch right here. If we look at this one, this and this connect right here. This and this connect right here. It's a quadrilateral, but no parallel sides. So this one has 0 parallel sides. Let's look at this rhombus or parallelogram down here. It's essentially the same shape, just turned a different way. So if this one, and again, guys, remember I just drew it, so it's not going to be perfect. These two lines, do they look parallel? They are. They're never going to touch. They can go the whole way on for miles and miles and miles. We'll never touch. And then these sides as well. This one and this one. So this shape has 2 parallel sides, or 2 sets of parallel lines. This one is one set, and then the red is another set. Finally, this is a quadrilateral. So let's see. If we look at this side here, and this side here, are they touching? No, they're not. But if the lines continued on, if the imaginary lines continued on all the way as they possibly could, kept on going, they would eventually touch. Now this one's not all that far. Some, they're going to be miles away before they touch. But this one you see will eventually touch. So that is not parallel. What about the other side? Like that. They don't touch. Do you think on this side they're going to? So continue out. Keep on going, going, going. That's not going to touch. But what about this side? If the lines continue on and on and on and on and on, eventually they'll touch. Also, not parallel. So here we have no parallel sides. Here we had 2 sets. Here we had 2 sets. 0. 2 sets. Remember, this trapezoid only had 1 set. The top and the bottom were parallel, but not the sides. And then a square had 2 sets of parallel sides. So, what I want you guys to do is if you go into your math activities in Seesaw, there's just a quick sort of a bunch of shapes at the bottom. I want you to sort the shapes into 0 parallel sets, 1 or 2. And happy Friday, guys. Have a great day. Bye.